Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Gnome out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This beer is called Lustra. This is pretty much, even though they don't have a flagship beer that they have on all the time, this is pretty much their flagship beer. This was the first beer, or at least part of the first two or three beers that he brewed when they opened. I got to try it like before they even opened. Even it like before he had opened, it was basically like a homebrew thing. I got to try it. So I mean, I've had this a lot of times, but I haven't done a proper review on it on here. And the reason I'm doing it today specifically is because today is Lustra Day at Gnome in Pittsburgh, where it's the first year they're doing it. They're releasing this half Lustra, which is like a session version of this. It's like 3.5% or something like that. Double Lustra, which is a double IPA version of this, and Triple Lustra, which is like a triple IPA version. So this one is 5.8, so it's like a stronger pale ale, or I don't know, lower alcohol IPA, whatever you want to call it. The double I think is like 8, and then the triple is like 10 or 11 and a half, something like that. So the double they've done a few times. Today was new for the half and the triple. So I think that's what people are trying to get the most. And that and the double, even though they've done it before, because the double is really good. I've had it before. But honestly, they make all these really good double IPAs. But I know several people, myself included, that they think this is their best beer because it's more simple. It's very, very dialed in. You know, you don't have to wait quite as long to drink it. It's not so oversaturated with hops. And it makes sense that it's so dialed in because he's been brewing this for a really long time. But, like I said, this is 5.8%, and I'm excited to crack it open because I haven't had it in a little while, so we'll see. And even though the new batch of this came out today in Pittsburgh, this can is dated 7/11, so it's like only 3.5 weeks old, so it's still pretty fresh. I can smell it from here. So as you can see, it pours I would say, a slightly darker, pretty hazy golden color with about a finger's worth of a pretty fluffy white head. So I really need to start looking up what hops are in these before I do these videos. I apologize for that. Sometimes I like to not know either, because then I have a preconceived notion of what it's supposed to smell and taste like. But so I'm getting a lot of Citra and Mosaic out of this. I would say it's more Citra forward, but there is a little bit of that like slight like sweat socky, or not sweat sock, but like sweaty Mosaic character. It's a little orangey too, like citrusy, but it's mainly like Citra tropical. And there's actually some character that it makes me think there might be Galaxy in this too. I honestly don't remember, but it's very, very, very juicy smelling. And just a very slight hint of some like bready malt underneath. Yeah, this is definitely their best beer. I've had a lot of their stuff recently, and it's all been really good, but this one is just so dialed in. It just seems like I would think it's something with the hops or whatever, and but it almost seems like the body is significantly different in this than any of their other beers. Seems like a water chemistry thing, but I can't imagine that's the case. Like, how would one beer be that different than the other ones? I would think they would get their water pretty similar for most of the hoppy beers that they make. But it's just like, it's very juicy, but it has a really nice balancing bitterness to it, that cuts the juice. But it also like has a little bit of a sweetness that balances out the bitterness at the same time. It's incredibly well rounded, but it does have like a little lingering bitterness, which I appreciate. It keeps it from being like too sweet, which some of these are today, and it's just really, really well rounded. And the body is like almost pillowy. I mean, it really honestly reminds me of these guys, Brew Gentlemen. I mean, if I had to pick, I would still say Brew Gentlemen is better in hoppy beers than Dancing Gnome is. The gap is getting smaller and smaller. I don't think it'll ever be closed, but I mean, this to me is close to one of their beers as Dancing Gnome has gotten. Just because it's so refined, it's not like it's really juicy, but it's really, really dialed in. I hate using that word because it makes me think it like I'm just referencing a Trillium beer, but it really is really dialed in. Like, you can tell that he's spent a lot of time getting this recipe perfected, and I've kind of found that with some of their other beers too. That like the ones that he's making over and over again are getting so good. And the ones that are new beers, they're all still good too, but like they might be a little rough around the edges or something. But the ones that he's made, like the different variants of Jam, and then like the mainstay double IPAs, like Spy Dolphin and Exquisite Beast, and those ones, like those are getting better and better. I feel like because he's really dialing in those recipes. Yeah, this. I don't remember. I know this one's a little cheaper than the double IPAs because it's only 5.8. I think Lustra is like 16, so $4 a can. I'd be really curious to find out. I hope I can get a can of the half Lustra, because the triple one, I can't imagine that's very good, and that's not to crap on Dancing Gnome. It's just so hard to make like a New England style IPA that strong and it be anything but like straight booze and sweetness. It's just almost impossible. Because I've had some great IPA makers who've done those, and most of them are not very good in my opinion. They're not bad, but I would much rather have the dialed down like 8% version. But I really like to try the half. I don't know. I feel like sometimes for how heavily hopped their stuff is, like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be tough to really perfect it in such a small beer that's like 3.5. They'd really have to rein in the hop schedule. But I'm curious. I'm hoping I can get some cans of that. So yeah, that's all I got on this guy. Like I said, this is definitely a buy for me. I would absolutely. Those other ones that came out today, I don't know how often they're going to be doing them, but they do this one pretty often, so I would definitely try to seek it out. It's a really, really great beer. So that's all I got on this guy. And please like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.